We are now going to begin our post-race media availability in the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series for the 20th Annual Nextera Energy Resources 250. And we're joined by tonight's runner-up finisher, Grant Enfinger, driver of the number 98 Champion Power Equipment Ford for Thor Sport Racing. If you have questions for Grant, raise your hand and we'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start here with Matt.
Matt Weaver, Auto Week. I caught the tail end of your radio interview where you said that when you were on Austin, you felt like if you stayed there too much longer, you would have crashed him. Did you feel like you would have crashed him, both of you, or what?
No, I was on Crafton.
Crafton, right? I meant Crafton, sorry.
Yeah, I gave Crafton a good shove there right after the green flag, through turns 1 and 2. And Austin had too big of a lead at that point. So at that point, I was like, perfect. We're going to end up 1-2 right here. And honestly, he just threw some major blocks that had to get Crafton checked up. And if I would have got him again, it would have wrecked us. Feel like that was probably our best opportunity to make something happen. I also had another good run coming to the white. Had a really good shove. My gut feeling was once I tried to sneak out there, I thought he was just going to fill the gap. So then I tried to give him a good shove and just didn't have anybody lined up behind me there coming out of 4. So just I mean, it's a crazy night. I mean, Daytona gets like that. Sometimes it seemed like the Xfinity race last year was like this. Man, it just, I don't guess it was a full moon, but man, it sure acted like it. It was just, I mean, carnage everywhere. But for us to do what we did, go 2 laps down, get everything fixed. I'm proud of our guys, proud of the truck we brought here, had good speed. We really did everything right all night, I think, and able to salvage a good finish. And now the real season starts next week at Atlanta.
Continue on with questions. Any questions here in the deadline room? Doug?
Hey, Grant. Excuse me. Sorry, I've been talking loud on pit road there. Doug Turnbull for PRN and WSB in Atlanta. I wanted to ask, and it may be obvious in the garage, but to the casual race fan, why the trucks were able to stay too wide so much better than the other racing we've seen this weekend. What's different about them and the characteristics besides it being a points race?
I mean, we punch such a big hole in the air that everybody is grouped up. And really, I mean, I shouldn't say handling's not an issue because the dictated by where trucks are besides you can get loose or tight or whatever. But there are a lot of downforce in them. And there's more horsepower. I mean, when we were just trying to stay out of trouble, I was, half, 3/4 throttle, staying 20, 30 car lengths behind the draft with no issues. So I think as a whole, whether you're a good truck or bad truck, you can stay in that lead pack, barring something, bad going on with your truck. So I think that provides good racing, but it provides tight racing. And then it's up to us to make it good racing. So we just, everybody's aggressive. This is the biggest race of the year, and everybody's going for it. And we tore up a lot of crap tonight.
We're going to go to Caleb.
Caleb Whistler, KickingTheTires.net. Brett Moffitt was kind of talking about the locking bumper issue. He and Sheldon Creed were penalized, but he said he saw you and I believe Sauter locking bumpers.
No, they were locking bumpers the whole beginning of the race. So I don't know how it took that long to get it. So no, that may be their opinion, but yeah.
How do you perceive that rule going forward?
At the end of the day, it's a judgment call. Unfortunately, if you're locked bumpers, that's not legal. If you can just bump it along, that is perfectly legal. The sad part is, as far as a driver's standpoint, it's easier to just stay locked and push them around the whole track. When you're doing that bumping is when we wreck. But that's just the way the rules are, and I feel like we played to that, and I don't feel like they were at the beginning. So that just is what it is. You're seeing how hard they're going to enforce that. That's, it's like any kind of judgment call, I guess.
Additional questions for Grant. Matt?
Just to add on to that, do you feel like if NASCAR were not to enforce the locking bumpers rule, would that take away some of the crashing we saw today or what we saw a little bit at Talladega too?
We'd be tandeming them in all the way around here in every series, I would say. So, no, I mean, that's not the answer either. It just is what it is. You've got to, play that. That just is what it is. I think it's probably enforced the right amount where we are.
Well, Grant, congratulations on the second place finish tonight, and good luck next week in Atlanta.
Thank you, guys.
We are now joined by tonight's 8th place finisher, Angela Ruck. who became the second female in NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series history to finish in the top 10, first since 2011. Wow, what a wild race tonight. Can you walk us through?
Yeah, I will say it was a crazy race. Yesterday in practice, we got some good runs in the draft. I was kind of learning a lot with Joe Nemechek, obviously, as my big help for the weekend. And obviously, I struggled a little bit in qualifying, missed a shift. But all in all, wow, a top 10. It's a dream of mine to be here. Obviously, my uncle won Daytona 500. So for me to carry in his footsteps, and to walk away to the top 10, man, I'm ecstatic. I'm so proud of myself.
Okay, we're going to open the floor up for questions. Go right here.
Luis Torres, Motorsports Tribune. So now that you've taken the time to relax, and one of the things that I've noticed when I was listening over through the radio, they were informing you to stay on the bottom all throughout, no matter what anybody else was doing. And you pretty much said, as long as they help you, you'll get through it and have this performance that you had tonight.
Yeah, I owe a lot of it to my team, obviously. Joe Nemechek and all of his guys have worked their butts off to give me a great car. And, Nemechek kept telling me, he's like, Angel, you have a top 10 car. He's like, you just got to be smart during the race and stay on the bottom. That was the only advice he said. Don't get up in the high line. So that's what I did, and here I am.
Go next to Doug.
Doug Turnbull from WSB Radio in Atlanta and for Performance Racing Network. What was your game plan after you were in the top 5 there, and there was kind of that whole fuel saving thing, and then you dropped to the back? It seemed like you were laying back from the draft
we
there.
actually dropped a piston there in the end. So we were just kind of trying to hang on as much as we could and hope that we had a finish that we deserved today.
We'll go upstairs to the press box.
Yeah, Chris9catchfence.com. Angela, I was just curious how many races you plan to do this year, and how did the opportunity to work with Nemco come together?
My next race will be Martinsville and then hopefully Vegas. We're looking to do 5 to 10 races with Nemechek, if he will still have me. I'm sorry, you said the other question was how did it come about?
Yes.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it was kind of not really thrown together last minute, but we had searched out quite a few teams that would run us, and Nemechek was pretty much the only guy that really gave me the opportunity, to be honest with you guys. So, again, to run for Joe Nemechek and his son, I've learned so much, so I can't complain.
And can you talk about the excitement and expectation of being a mom here pretty soon?
Oh my gosh, I know, right? The adoption. I'll tell you what, my husband and I have been trying to adopt for like the last 6 months, and it's been a struggle, but we do have a little boy due any day, any second, any minute. My husband and I couldn't be more excited. We're having a little boy, so baby mama and her mom and dad, I know they're watching, and I hope they're proud.
Come down front here to Matt.
Matt Weaver, Auto Week. I actually talked to Joe Nemechek on Wednesday morning during media day and asked about how y'all's program came together. And one thing that he brought up was that he felt like in your previous NASCAR appearances that there was just certain things that he was surprised you never picked up on. He talked about the seat, just getting in the seat, little things like that. How valuable is it to have a guy like Joe be able to walk you through and not necessarily show you the ropes, but just give you the basics and things you need to do just to be able to make it here at Daytona?
I'll say I've been living at the shop with him, and his number one thing was being comfortable in that seat. So we literally spent, I'd say, even more than 12, 15 hours, getting the seat right and comfortable and like putting at certain angles. And it's crazy that I've never learned that. I've obviously haven't put myself in the best situations in the past. I'm a race car driver. I feel like I deserve to be here. I haven't had the best opportunities given to me until now. So for Joe to take the time out of his busy schedule and for his son to come by and help me like they've done, wow. They gave me a rocket ship this weekend.
We'll go next to your left to Tom.
Tom Bowles, front stretch. At one point during the race, you're in the top 5, caution came out. You're struggling to figure out how to save fuel. And I was just kind of wondering if you could talk a little more about that. And, being in that different position, did you actually start to think, I have a shot to win this race about halfway through when you're running in the top 5?
Yeah, I know it's probably funny to hear over the radios as Angel doesn't know how to save fuel. But again, I just look back to my past history, and I've always kind of been, doing what I love to do, but not in the right equipment. So I've never really, been told how to save fuel. So I'm sure they got a chuckle out of it. I'll hear about it when I get back to the pits. But again, it's all so new to me. To get this finish today is huge. I couldn't be more happier.
Any additional questions? We'll go to Deb.
Deb Williams, ESPNW and RacingToday.com. When they started the race, they were talking about you selling some real estate in order to finance this effort. Could you please talk about that story?
You know, I had sold a couple of my businesses, and I have a ton of real estate that I own. And I kind of looked at my husband. I'm like, wow, you know, I'm not gonna lie, my husband's pretty loaded. I have my own finances, my own money, and I was like, let's just sell and get rid of it. Let's go have some fun. That's what life's all about. So for me, just to kind of get rid of everything and have this, you know, this shot and this opportunity, this is what I'm here for.
Additional questions? Angela, congratulations on the finish. Good luck on the adoption. And,
Thank you so
We'll
much.
see you in Martinsville.
Appreciate it.
We're going to go ahead and start with our post-race media availability for the 20th annual Nextera Energy Resources 250 and the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series. And we're joined by our race-winning driver, Austin Hill, driver of the number 16 Chiba Toyo Pet Toyota. And boy, what a feeling it is for you tonight to get the victory lane. And we also have Crew Chief Scott Zipadelli coming on stage now. We'll open the floor for questions. If you have a question for these gentlemen, raise your hand and we will get a wireless microphone to you. We're going to start with Caleb and then go to Matt and then to Jacob.
Caleb Whistler, KickingTheTires.net for any of you guys. Earlier today in the drivers' meeting, Marcus Lemonis threw a bonus for winning the championship. Now that you guys are locked in, how desperate are you guys going to try to fight for that bonus at the end of the season?
Well, you know, number one goal is to win the championship. So we're locked in now. Kind of takes the weight off of your shoulders going into Atlanta. We get to go have fun now. We're not chasing points. We're not chasing anything but wins. So that's going to be really cool. It's going to be a lot more relaxed, I think, going forward. You know, the bonus structure that they have going on with Gander Outdoors and all that's a cool deal. So, you know, obviously we want to go get that money. So, we're gonna try every race as hard as we can, and if we come out on top, great. If not, we're gonna take a decent day and go to the next one.
Go next to Matt, then to Jacob, and then to Davey.
Matt Weaver, Auto Week. I got two questions. One first for Scott for Austin, and I wish I could talk to Herman too because I was listening to the three of you talk about fuel. Kind of walk me through the decision to not go back in, especially when there were so few cars there, and how close was it to you guys actually going in?
Yeah, so man, we pitted pretty early. I felt like, and they kept harping me. Man, they just kept saying save fuel, max save. So. Anytime I could, shutting the motor off, letting it coast, doing all those things. We knew how hard it was to pass tonight. It seemed like if you could get out front, you could kind of control, you know, the lanes and what you wanted to accomplish because our truck was really good leading out front, I felt like. So we took the chance. We took the gamble. You know, we're here to win races. So that's the chance we took, and you know, luckily it worked out for us. I was pretty scarce off of turn 4. I was thinking we were going to run out at any moment, but we made it to the finish line.
Scott, was there a chance that you were going to call him in?
No, I was pretty committed. I just, you know, you watch these races, and if you're not on the front row or way in the back, your chances of getting wrecked are like 75%, right? So I felt like truck had a really good truck. And calculations put us really close, and then we get another caution. And just kept working on the numbers, and once we were committed at that point, really.
So Kelly and I have been having kind of a debate, and with Twitter too. What constitutes an underdog? What constitutes a small team? And that's kind of been the story with the team. So both for Shiggy and for Scott, are you guys still underdogs? You're the champion now, but it's still a small team, one truck. What is the definition of an underdog?
We're the underdogs. We like that. We like that. I don't know what I mean, yeah, we're definitely underdogs because we're a small team. We struggled with some, you know, completing the funding last year, and we kept kicking the ball down the road. You know, we had to lay some people off mid-year to tighten up on our payroll and keep the team rolling. But we went through the season with 4 less employees than we did last year through the off season, so we've all worked harder to pick up that slack. I don't really have the answer for that other than when you're surrounded by amazing people, amazing things can happen. And the heart and soul of this group of guys that we've assembled is just really, really amazing, to be honest with you. We had a fun winter. We worked really hard. We laughed. And the guys, they're just all in. Their families are in, they're in, and it's just an amazing group.
I don't know. But, well, actually, last year, obviously, Brett, he did a really good job. But same things, this year, Austin, definitely, I believe him, he does a good job. And also, all our team members, they spend a lot of time in the off season, and yeah, definitely we were able to get a good season again this year.
We're going to go to Jacob, to Davey, and then to Doug.
Jacob Seelman, Speed Sport Magazine. 2 questions. First, Austin, you guys gambled tonight and it worked, but you told me after practice on Thursday that you were just grateful these guys were willing to, and wanted you to come drive their truck because you had never had that. Is this paying them back tonight? Against all the odds. I mean, everybody looks at you and goes, they shouldn't be sitting here, yet here you are. Is this you being able to pay them back for taking that chance on you?
Yeah, I had a lot of people throughout the off season, and even when I got to the racetrack, asking if a lot of weight was on my shoulders. Coming into a team that won the championship, and I kind of embraced that. I felt like they went out and won the championship last year, so I feel like they should at least get a shot at it. Getting the final round of 8. Now we are. So I mean these guys have been awesome to me. The transition really hasn't really been a transition, if you know what I mean. It's just it's almost like I've known these guys forever. I go in the shop every day. I hang out, get to know the guys a little more each day. We go to lunch. We do all those things. So I just feel like the team bonding is a big key to success, and that's what we were able to do on the off season going forward. And then in Mike Gricci, he's really the one that kind of stepped in and kind of asked me what 2019 was going to look like for me. And I didn't know at the time, and somehow it all came together. I'm still simply amazed that we're sitting here right now talking to you guys. So so surreal experience. It's awesome that we had Chiba Toyo Pet on board, Toyota TRD, and all those guys. And then getting the first win with Gander Outdoors, I think that's a really special deal.
For Scott and Shiggy, day one, as Scott, you said a minute ago, you guys like being the underdogs. How big a statement is this now as the defending championship team to say, okay, we have a shot to defend this title?
Honestly, I'm pretty proud of that. I thought about that on the way over here. I think it is a good statement. It's a good statement. We really don't care too much what other people say, right? I try to tune all that out. Just we're focused on. I think it's a big statement for our employees and our race team, our partners, TRD, Toyota, all of our partners from last year, this year. I think it's a big statement that we are championship caliber team, and we're gonna work as hard as we can to give Austin the same opportunity that we had last year. So we're pretty proud of that accomplishment today.
Davey?
Davey Siegel with Front Stretch. Austin, on the last lap, the block that you threw on Enfing on the back stretch, usually when you throw a block like that, you're either going to get wrecked, and the whole field will, or they'll make a move and go underneath or above you. What was going through your mind when you saw him coming up quick on you, and did you think that you were going to be able to make that stick?
Man, I didn't know what was going to happen. That's really the first time I've been put in that predicament. So, I really listened to Herm, my spotter. I think the whole backstretch I didn't look straight. I think I was looking in the mirror the whole entire time down the backstretch. I don't think I looked down until we were entering turn 3. And then once we entered turn 3, I was back looking in my mirror. So really that whole lap, I was driving it off my mirror, just trying to block as much as I could. He hit me pretty good. It kind of got me upset, but I was able to correct it. And then he gave me a really big shot right down in the center of 3 and 4, and that's really a dangerous spot to be touched. And man, Scott had that thing hooked up. We were a little on the tight side, but we didn't want to really mess with it because we thought that it would be good, at the end, and it would kind of give you some stability. And it did. When he gave me that shot, I think if we would have been on the loose side, we wouldn't probably be sitting here talking to you guys. So my biggest concern was throwing that block, and then once we got off of turn 4 and I was told that I was clear by 1, it was just hopefully getting to the line and not run out of fuel, and we were able to do that.
We're going to go next to Doug, then up to the press box, and then over to Mike.
Doug Turnbull for WSB and PRN. Austin, was there a point, you said a moment ago how you thought that you weren't sure what 2019 was going to hold. Have you been at a crossroads yet in your career where you thought, despite being in your 20s, that it might be over? You got a family, 2 kids. You had one point you were driving for your own race team and then driving for a mid-level team. Did anything like this Satori opportunity seem like on the horizon, or was there ever a time you were at a crossroads?
Yeah, I was at a crossroads back when I was 20 years old, so 4 years ago. We were kind of throwing it around. Are we going to keep racing or not? And we wanted to stay in the sport. Yeah, we were only running 10 races, and we were doing it on our own, doing our own truck team. So we wanted to stay in the sport, keep my kind of name out there. And then last year, being able to go run a full season, it gave me a lot of experience. I got to go to all the racetracks. But yeah, the last 4 years, it's been, when it gets down to the end of the year, what are we going to do next year? Are we just going to hang it up? Is it time to go find a real job, go work in racing, do some spotting gigs, do something other than actually driving, the trucks? And this opportunity I never would have saw coming in a million years. When I was approached, I never would have thought that we could have made it all work. And, with great partners that we have, and United Rentals coming on board this year with us, and backing us a little bit more going into 19, that really helps. So yeah, it's still a surreal moment for me. I don't think it's really sat in yet. I'm going to be thinking about this all the way going into Monday, and then we're going to be getting ready for Atlanta.
Go upstairs to the press box.
Yeah, ChrisKnightCatchFence.com. Congratulations to you guys as an organization. But for Shiggy, you guys have conquered the most, from a championship to winning at Homestead to winning at Atlanta and now winning at Daytona. Is there anything left for your team to accomplish?
Well, Daytona is my definite dream come true. And again, we cannot stop, and everybody keep going forward. We cannot like this and then go back forward. So we try to, every day spend more time and go forward.
Go to Mike.
Mike Massey, FrenchStretch.com. Austin, obviously you replaced the defending champion of the series. I'm sure, I've seen some of the stuff on social media that people have said about that. How does this shut up the haters?
I feel like you're always going to have haters, no matter what series you're in, what team you're running for, what organization you're with. You're always going to have haters. But like Scott said, you kind of just mind your own business. You work with your guys and accomplish what you can with the team. If the truck gives you a good enough truck to go run up front, then you go run up front that weekend. If you're struggling that weekend, you just you learn from it and move forward. So I'm sure that there's going to be some guys that kind of tell me good job for the win and all that, and start kind of maybe moving over to the Austin Hill brand or whatever you want to call it. But there's still going to be haters out there. But that's not something I'm worried about. All I'm worried about is going to get wins for these guys and finishing in the best positions I can.
Any additional questions for our race-winning team? Let's go up front to Kelly. And let's go to Dustin, then to Kelly.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Austin, how does this moment compare to what you imagined winning would be like at this level?
Man, ever since I was 3, 4 years old, I wanted to be a race car driver. And when I started racing, watching on TV, all that, I always wanted to race at Daytona. I thought it was the coolest thing to see those guys run at Daytona. It's the world center of racing. It's so huge to win at a place like Daytona. So to come here and get my first win at Daytona, it's an amazing feeling. Like I said, I don't know if it's really set in yet completely with me. I'm so excited going forward with these guys. I think that there's a lot of good things ahead of us and onto the horizon. So can't wait to get back in the shop and get working with Scott again.
Next to Kelly, and then over to Dom.
Kelly, CrandallRacer.com. Austin, can we go back to the incident on the backstretch? First of all, the contact with Ben Rhodes where you both had to get yourself straightened out, and it looked like everybody was going to blow past you, and then all of a sudden the wreck's breaking out, and you somehow missed it. So first off, the emotions of thinking you're out of it as you and Ben get together, and then how did you miss that wreck?
Yeah, so coming off of turn 2, I had a huge run on Ben. He left the door open. He left the bottom open. So I went to go fill the hole. Right when I went to go fill it, he turned left, and when he did, we made contact. We were both able to gather it up and keep going, but it killed our momentum. I just knew our race was over. I knew that we were just going to hopefully take a decent finish and move forward to Atlanta. But whenever I saw, I think it was the 20 or the 12 or somebody got turned and got into the 99, I just knew that all the cars went up, so I went all the way down as low as I could without touching the grass and just hoped and prayed that nobody touched me and nobody got into my right rear. And luckily we made it through. I don't really know how that happened. I just held a straight wheel and tried to get through it as quick as I could.
Dominic?
Dominic Ottagon with the Racing Experts. For Austin, whenever you're sitting in the rocking chair looking back on this win at whatever point in time, what are you going to remember most about it? What's going to stick out the most to you?
I think the biggest thing that's going to stick out the most to me is my whole entire family's here. It's really, really special win for me. My wife and 2 kids and my brothers, they don't get to come all the time. This year they're going to be able to come a lot more. So it's a little emotional for me because last year I think they only came to 1 or 2 races. So to see them here today and to see all the smile on their faces, it's just very special to me. And to be able to win first race with Hattori Racing, I just think it builds a lot of momentum going forward. If there was any type of doubts, that's out the window. We're in the championship chase now. So now it comes down to going to try to win some more races, get as much bonus points going into the final 8.
Austin, Scott, Shiggy, congratulations on winning Daytona, and good luck next week in Atlanta.
Thank you.
Yeah.